2025 budget. INEC rejects 40 billion naira allocation, proposes 126 billion naira. INEC INEC has rejected 40 billion naira allocation that was allocated for them in the 2025 budget, and they are proposing to have 126 billion to conduct another nonsensical election. That's the news. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has rejected the 40 billion naira earmarked for it in 2025 budget estimates, but tacitly got approval for the 126 billion naira it proposed to the National Assembly through its Joint Committee on INEC and Electoral Matters. Hey God, this is the country we are in. A body that spent 313.6 billion in 2023 election, the budget for 2023 election, and that approval of 313.6 billion naira was approved to them in September to conduct the presidential election, and they failed woefully. And now in this year 2025, they are proposing for 126 billion. INEC that Nigerians have lost hope, trust on. This is the money that is being allocated to them to conduct another election that will not be different from what we have been saying. Who will help Nigeria? The rejection of the 40 billion naira yearly budget envelope for the electoral body was made by its chairman. The rejection was made by the chairman, which is Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, who we have found that his track record is nothing to write home about. Nothing at all to write home about. It was the one who rejected the 40 billion that was allocated to them and proposed for 126 billion in the 2025, but to conduct another nonsensical election. Professor Mahmoud Yakubu to the Joint Committee on Friday during the budget defense session. The INEC boss, in his presentation before the Joint Committee chaired by Senator Sarafadeen Ali, APC Oyo South, said elections in Nigeria have become huge body requiring adequate funding. Our proposal for the 2025 budget, the provision requires the sum of over 126 billion. We have the document that has provided details line by line on how we intend to spend 126 billion. That was the same. I will still read for you 2023 budget. That was the same way they had all what they are going to do with the money mapped out, and they failed woefully. We would like the support of the National Assembly to enable us to achieve our responsibility in the first line charge, and most of these responsibilities are constitutional. In a nutshell, the 40 billion naira budget envelope given us for the 2025 will not cover 1/3 of projected expenses, which amounts to over 126 billion. Aside of the off-cycle election for the 121 constituency to be fed through by-elections and the Anambra governorship election this year, personal cost alone on account of the new minimum wage will eat up the 40 billion naira budgetary envelope, he said. He added that the inadequate of 40 billion naira budget envelope made the electoral body to get intervention funds of 10.5 billion for Edo election. The Edo election that people are still, as a people is even more than being criticized. It's even more than being criticized. The Edo election that people have rubbished. They got extra 10.5 billion to conduct that nonsense. That nonsense election that lack credibility, that lack integrity, that lack the purpose of having an INEC body, that lack free and fair, that failed woefully, and that they are asking for another one. He said he added that the inadequate of the 40 billion budget envelope made the electoral body to get intervention funds of 10.5 billion for Edo and Ondo election in 2024 and another 500 million for by-election on affected constituency in 2024. Apparently convinced by the proposal of INEC, members of the Joint Committee, one after the other, assured the electoral body that the proposal sum shall be appropriate in the 2025 fiscal budget. In other words, the 126 billion will be approved, will be fixed into the 2025 budget for another questionable election. Because so long Professor Mahmoud Yakubu remain the INEC chairman in Nigeria, we will continue to witness and see an election nothing good can come out of. Nothing. You can see the amount of money Nigerians spend from taxpayers' money. They spend on election, and at the end, we still get nonsense. You can see the amount of money. Specifically, Senator Ireti Kingibe, Labour Party FCT said, LP FCT said, the situation at hand is not about looking for the 126 billion naira for INEC in 2025 fiscal year, but providing it. The Joint Committee thereafter went into a closed-door session with the INEC chairman and Federal Commissioner on how to source for the fund and appropriate it in the 2025 budget. This is the amount of money that INEC are demanding to conduct elections in 2025. Let me quickly read for you the budget for 2023. That 2023-2024, you will see that the kind of election that we saw is the worst in the history of Nigeria. The worst, where broad daylight mandates were stolen. Broad daylight. Even 2024 was even worse, where by forensic investigation, it was said that a member of INEC personnel sat down to manipulate results. Sat down by forensic investigation, analysis, and INEC personnel sat down to manipulate results. And now they are demanding for 126 billion to conduct an election that will not be far from the others. I will read 2023 budget for you people now. It said the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) says the federal government released 313.4 billion for the conduct of the 2023 general election. 313.4 billion naira for the conduct of the 2023 election. I said before 313.6. Now it's 313.4 billion naira for the conduct of the 2023 general election, which is the presidency. The commission, in its 2023 general election report released on Friday, said that out of the 355 billion approved for the conduct of the election, the sum of 313.4 billion was only released as of September 2023 for the presidency election, the presidential election. 313.4 billion naira released on September alone, and we saw all the losses that we saw. He said, according to the report, based on the key activities in the approved election project plan for the 2023 general election, INEC proposed a budget of 305 billion for the conduct of the election. The breakdown of this amount showed that the commission asked for 159.4 billion, 0.7 billion for electoral operations, 117.3 billion for electoral technology. Technology, that is the beavers and all. 117.3 billion, and with all the nonsense we saw, we still saw them. He said, and 20.4 billion for the electoral administrative costs, and we still saw all the nonsense we saw. With all that money that was spent in 2023, all the nonsense we saw, we still saw them. And now in 2025, they are coming out to ask for 126 billion to conduct elections in 2025. This is not, as a Nigerians, like I always say, it is time where we need to come out and choose. See, so long APC remain in power, Yakubu Mahmood will remain the INEC chairman. It will remain. Nobody can remove that man. You know why? Because he play according to their game. He's playing along. He's playing along. He's playing along. So long APC remain in power, that man will still be there.